All right.
We're off and running.
Yeah, we're
Half an hour late, but or 2 weeks late, depending on how you look at it. You
yeah.
didn't run one of these last fortnight, did you?
No, last week was a bit of a weird. Oh, last week?
Fortnight ago.
I don't remember. It's been a confusing month.
Anyway, welcome to Wednesday.
Yeah, we are obviously in a different spot.
Yeah, we're just moving it around.
Um, Partly because we only got back from our couple of days away not that long ago, and then we've done the kids thing, and
Yeah, and we couldn't be stuck going
yeah, we
out to
couldn't
the
we couldn't be bothered going back out to the
sunshine.
studio space. We thought we'd just do it here.
Yeah.
So, welcome along. Um, Hopefully you can hear us all right. I'm using a different mic than we would normally use, and it looks like it's picking up. So,
I had this open so that I would be able to look, but I've just realised we're not on Facebook, so I'll
no.
leave that. You can pop that over on that pile of stuff. Okay, what are we talking about today?
Well, I've had. I'm going to start by saying thank you to anyone who's been listening to the podcast or any of the live streams because I have been getting some episode suggestions for future content.
Oh, good. That's always nice
I
because
got
we tend to get to the 5 minutes before we're due to record, and I'll say, "What are we talking about today?" And Mark goes, "I don't know." I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? You have one job. So
so
that's good.
we're going to have um, a topic from Tom, which is actually quite an interesting one.
Which Tom?
He's Tom Coulter. So he said it was a very long paragraph, and he said, "Got an idea for a podcast episode, or can you answer me these question or this question?" And then went on to like 3 paragraphs, and I went, "Excellent topic." And he went, "So what's the answer?" And I went, "We're going to record that." So
Awesome.
yeah, I've also been speaking to someone about doing an interview for an episode of the podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Tom as well.
Great.
He is one of the WTC head judges and rules adjudicators and
Ah,
heavily involved with the WTC FAQ and organising that event, which hopefully will go ahead in August of this year. And I was chatting to him today, and he said he was more than happy to come on and chat to us about how they go through their process, what FAQs, like how they reach their rulings. Because obviously, when you start talking about an event on the scale that is, with 300 players and multiple versions of every codex across multiple languages, there's obviously a lot that goes into making sure that everyone knows what rules they're playing.
the
So,
language thing must be very tricky.
yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that.
I've been bitten by a mozzie. I can't stop scratching. Sorry.
G'day, Aaron. How you going?
Hey.
I'm assuming that there's obviously a situation for them where I know that they always default to the English version of the books, but I also obviously know they produce them in German, in French.
Yeah. Sure.
Um,
Multiple languages.
yeah, there's at least a couple that I'm aware of, and who knows how many they actually produce. So I thought it'd be great to have a chat to him to understand how they get to some of their rulings, and also talk about some of the intricacies around the judging format and that sort of thing. So just trying to line a time up with him, and we'll record that sometime in the next week. So that'll be cool. If you have any questions that you want to ask specifically around the WTC, he's also happy for us to ask those on your behalf. So
whether or not he answers them is another.
yeah, no, Tom's been awesome. He's been very forthcoming with all my questions and queries around some of the rules, and he's one of the people who, when I've got a message that's been sent to me pre-event that someone goes, "Hey, how does this work?" He's actually on my list of
Go to.
what does that look like for you guys if I can't come up with an answer, or if I come up with an answer, I'm not convinced myself of that answer.
Mm-hmm.
So there's about 4 people on that list, and he's one of them. So, and he's well known in the community for working closely with other organisers. So yeah, it's good to get him on and have a chat. So if you've got any questions for Tom in regards to the WTC and their FAQ or anything like that you want to talk about, let us know, and we'll post them and ask. I'll give him a bit of a heads up, but yeah.
Oh, he gets a heads up. I never get a heads
No,
up.
you never get a heads up. It's fine. So yeah, we have the Dark Elder or the Drakari book coming for pre-order this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still looking for someone to split Pain and Piety with, if anyone's interested. Otherwise, I may just have to buy the box, and hopefully one of our kids wants to start Sisters of Battle.
I don't think you will. I think you'll be fine.
I do just want Lilith, to be fair.
I think you'll be fine.
So if someone wants to sell me Lilith, I'm okay with that as well. I've also been looking at Artel Miniatures. Have you seen Artel before?
Yeah.
So Artel are a company, I want to say they're European, but I don't want to commit to a country because I'm not 100% sure.
No, and last time I tried to guess which continent a country was in.
You were wrong, yeah.
Well, I wasn't.
We were half wrong.
Yeah. It's not my fault if one country spans 2 continents and I'm geographically challenged. You're geographically challenged also.
So Artel started doing Dawn of War 3 characters, which Games Workshop quickly went, no, they're ours. You can't take our intellectual property. And so Artel went, okay, fair enough. And they've done, I can't believe it's not versions of these models. Not just those, but of plenty of different ones. And so they've done stuff from computer games. They've done some of Assassin's Creed and that sort of stuff. They've done Hellsing Ultimates version, Alucard. They've done a whole bunch of stuff, and then they've moved and transitioned into doing orcs. And they are orcs with a C, not a K, because the K version's IP'd. And they've done futuristic science fiction soldiers, and I forget what they call their version of Eldar. They call them something. Anyway, I think they're a Starborn, I think is what they call them, and then Voidborn are the Drakari units. In any case, they do some amazing sculpts, and I've been trying to come up with a way of doing a unit of grotesques for my Drakari. It's a unit that I don't have. It's a unit that only comes in Finecast in blisters of 1 at $48 a model, and you need minimum 3, maximum 6.
And how many do you want?
Well, if I bought them from Games Workshop, I'd want 6 because 3 is pointless. You want 5 or 6. Artel do them at $40 for 3. So
surely you'd still want 6.
Yeah, but I'm only having to buy 2 lots of 40 instead of 6 lots of 40.
My question was, how many do you want? And you said if I buy them from Games Workshop, I'd want 6. The answer should have just been 6. I want 6.
I want 6. Yeah, I'm going to want 6. So I thought I made that clear. No, apparently not. That face is what I get sometimes at a podcast. It's what I get for the podcast. It's fine. So I've been looking at those today, and so I'll probably put something up in the patrons group offering to do a group buy if anyone wants them. I know that OTP were at one point able to order from them because I got a model from them from Artel, but I also know that they were still like they had to buy them in so much in batches, and I don't know whether they're still doing that. So I'll talk to Dan and Emma first, and if they can't, then I'll go direct.
Aaron's reading a comment from Aaron.
Aaron said, yeah, because I've got down here, I've got my laptop. Aaron says, Warhammer community page just did a post about Armies of Renown, which we talked about on the podcast we released on Monday. It was one of the expansions that was going into the Book of Rust, the first campaign book, and they mentioned Armies of Renown, I think it was. Hopefully we'll have that book shortly, but whether we get it before pre-orders arrive, who knows? It'd be nice to have them so that we can share and talk about them in that sort of capacity with everyone, but we'll see when we get them. Ultimately, being in Australia kind of limits that because they are shipped from Nottingham.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, she's just found it. Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, I got distracted with the Model Monday.
I'll have to have a read about it
I'm
later.
Just looking at the pictures.
You're looking at the pictures?
Yeah. I haven't got my glasses on. There's no way I can read that text.
I'm really interested to see how that integrates with whether it's a campaign thing or whether it's an actual match play thing. Aaron says it reminds him of War Machine tier list. Build an army with restrictions, gain a benefit. Okay, that could be interesting. So I actually was like in War Machine Mark II when Aaron was playing heavily was one of the things I really liked about it because if you found a theme that you really enjoyed and you trimmed back exactly what you took, you actually got a really cool theme benefit that actually tied in really well. And I don't think that kind of followed through into Mark III, which was a bit of a shame. So then again, some of those theme lists, there's like, I think the tier, I forget which tier it was now. Tier 1 for, I can't think of the faction name at the moment. The elves in War Machine. It was basically all the Mage Hunter Strike forces and stuff, and they got so ridiculously broken that most tournaments I saw banned tier lists just to avoid that and a couple of others, which were just really, really broken. But they looked fun to play. So, and because we are inside today, there are 3 dogs that are going to come and bother us instead of 1.
We've got the lights set up, so
He doesn't like the light.
No, the lights set up next to one of the big couches that our big dog has claimed for his own, and so he's just come in. He's seen the camera here. He's seen the light behind. He's seen the light stuff that's on the couch. He's not impressed.
No,
he's
just looked at us like we've stolen something from him. So he'll be fine though. So yeah, look, as we talked about on the podcast, we'll probably be having to move this, and obviously mainly to coincide with the podcast, and whether we can leave this on a Wednesday night, I'm not sure.
I think we have to.
But the podcast, because of the way we have to record now, it's going to have to move to later in the week. I don't think we can avoid that because Emma's work schedule has changed. So we would normally try and record during the day on a Monday.
Yes, we normally record on a Monday. Mike edits on a Tuesday, and it goes out on a Wednesday.
Published Wednesday, yeah. That's normally the plan. Sometimes it's not recorded till Tuesday, but
sometimes it's not recorded
Wednesday
till midnight Wednesday.
And I publish it at 11:55, but
so long as it goes out before Thursday, I'm happy. But the last couple haven't gone out.
Yeah, so. And that's kind of highlighted the issues that because of the scheduling changes, we have to make changes as well. So. We're going to be aiming for...
And we did kind of go, okay, well, can we record it over the weekend and then you can still edit it? But it's just, because we try and do news, it's not new anymore.
No, and that was the issue, wasn't it?
Yeah, and even this one, we started recording it, I think, did we start recording it after I finished work on Monday?
Well, we started recording, I think the first half of it was, because we published it Monday night.
Okay, well, I can't remember what day we started recording it. Oh, yeah, that's right. Whatever, we started recording it one day, and then we were going so late.
I think it was Sunday night. We recorded the first half of it Sunday night.
It was supposed to go in one pass, but then...
Yeah, and then...
It's been such a long day, I was falling asleep.
Then Monday we recorded parts, and then when we went to record the outro, they'd done a new article. What we talked about in the intro, so here we are.
So things change, so it just... Yeah, we don't want to make it record too far in advance, because then news is old.
Yeah. So we'll probably look to record on like a Wednesday probably for publishing on about a Friday, I think is going to be the way it ends up working out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So obviously excluding interviews and things, because if we can pre-record those, then we can drop those in to episodes as long as they're reasonable. Like the one with Tom I've been talking about for WTC. I don't want to record that and then save it for 3 months and publish it because it won't be relevant necessarily based on the way changes happen. So...
I'm so sorry. Look, we're a bit later tonight. I'm normally yawning about 45 minutes in. I'm yawning 15 minutes in.
That's also because we've had a couple of days off to recharge, and laying around at the pool drinking cocktails has taken it out of us. So
it's very taxing.
But it's been good because I've come back to a wall of messages and texts and stuff about what's been going on in the community.
Have we got any questions? Let's talk about some questions.
I haven't got enough tabs open, I don't think.
How can I help?
I don't know if Courtney is still looking for because he had one drop from the Iron Man.
I saw John said that he could pick it up.
Oh, okay, cool. I know that they were one short. So whether or not that's been filled yet, I don't know. So if you... I can't see anything there. If you are interested in joining the Iron Man, at the very least... hit Courtney up because he might have a spot. I can't guarantee it, but he may have a spot. We are going to be streaming at Iron Man. I'm going to be there the whole day. I think the plan is still for you to come down for the final game.
Well, my plan is I'm going to come down, I'm going to have dinner.
And then do the final game.
Yeah, it's tricky. I was going to have dinner and a couple of drinks and then do the final game. So who knows how that's going to go.
So I'll be there all day though, streaming tables and... I don't know if it's going to happen, but I believe that Alan from the Toy Soldier Cartel is going to be joining me for a couple of the games.
Have you double checked that?
Well, that was the original plan, and I went to. Oh, Aaron's just saying, there's now a waiting list. Cool. It was a post I
Always
saw
good
from.
to pop your name on that waiting list just in case.
It was a post I saw from Courtney yesterday, or the Monday maybe, that he was still looking for someone.
I saw today that John Edwards had said that if they were still looking for someone, he could take the spot. But I don't know when the post went up. I've lost track of I don't even know what day it is today. It's Wednesday because we're doing
this, yeah. So yeah, we'll be there. Well, I'll be there the whole day. I know that when I spoke to Courtney, he tried to call us on Tuesday while we were out, and then I tried to call him back today, and he was out. So we're going to chat tomorrow and just line up the final details. As soon as we know exactly what that schedule looks like, I'll publish it on our Facebook page, and you guys can obviously be aware of it. I'm not sure what that time difference is going to look like because
I don't understand that.
Well, I'm thinking about any of our followers who aren't in Western Australia who want to watch.
The time difference is going to look exactly the same as it does for anything.
You didn't even let me finish the thought.
It was a pretty... Carry on, finish the thought.
No, it's too late now.
There's a couple of comments there.
They still don't allow me to ship the mat. So pizza in the chat is Isik from Wayland Yutani. We've been trying, I don't know if anyone saw it, we previewed a mat that Isik had done up with all the deployments and our logo in the middle, which was really cool. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic and the post from where it's being shipped from, it weighs too much to be shipped. So they won't actually post it. I'm hoping...
The things that COVID is being held responsible for, it's just amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Australia Post now only delivers to us on 1 week it delivers to us Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The next week it delivers Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah. And Saturday. They started delivering Saturday until lunchtime. And
Post is going to totally wrong streets. So, you know, any street that begins with a B, those streets are being mucked up.
Yeah.
And they're saying it's because of COVID. Not sure about that. Anyway, that's a rant for a different day.
He's saying not weight, it's dimensions now they're complaining about. Originally it was weight.
That's really annoying.
Isik, like I said to you, I'm more than happy to work with you and see if we can get a UPS style delivery rather than using standard post, but I'll chat to you about that offline.
One of the things that, speaking of mats, one of the things that I did find at the last event that I had meant to bring up in the last podcast and forgot, because I didn't write notes and I really should have. So what we did at Masters was, okay, just taking it back a step. So we were working with 6x4s for Masters and they were taped down.
Yep.
Because of that, it makes it kind of tricky to know where the middle of the board is. And so at a previous event, somebody had said about that. So we're always trying to find ways that we can problem solve. So I got some just sticky dots. And then I think it was Marcus and Gary ended up going around and measuring out all of the mats or the boards and putting a sticky dot in the middle of the table, which was great because then for Masters, they were mostly still there. And the ones that weren't, Marcus and Gary went and did again for me. So fantastic, because then when we were putting out the terrain, that was awesome because we could measure from that dot, we could measure from the board edge.
I believe it's on the mat for Isik.
One of the things that I struggled with for First Blood was that the boards didn't have that sticky dot. So it was something that I thought was actually really useful, was actually having the marker in the very middle of the table.
I believe they do have them. I believe the mat did. Now, the mat that we're hoping to somehow get from Isik is actually going to be used for the stream, hopefully, depending on how the reflections get on the lighting.
And whether or not we can get it.
And when we can actually get it. I'm hoping to put it down as the streaming map so that you'll be able to see the deployment zones and see it all marked up. So it should be really cool.
I suppose I was just thinking that even if, like, without that, just as a thing potentially for other people who are playing or hosting events, it can be useful to mark the centre. Because I guess that was feedback that we had from players. And then, I will admit that when I was trying to make symmetrical terrain, it made it a lot easier.
Now, we've got a couple of comments. Dave Solo, hey Obsec, First Blood was my first tourney. My first game at the event was my second ever game of Ninth.
Oh, wow. You were one of those brave souls.
You ran a great event. My opponents made me feel welcome and every game was fun. Even my first game where I lost 80-10. Thanks, Dave. Really appreciate that sort of feedback, man. It's we do try and make sure that everyone who comes to one of our events is part of the community straight as early as we possibly can make it. So it's
You
great.
had a bit of a baptism of fire.
You did. And we look forward to seeing you hopefully at another event soon, because the community, while the format of the event will change, the community doesn't. And they're a great group of people. So thanks very much for coming. Isik says 1.2 meters long is a packet. I'm assuming it means a parcel, not a letter, and they can't post parcels.
What if you fold it in half
No,
and
no,
roll it?
don't do that. It'll ruin it.
Well, iron it when it gets
You
here.
can't iron it. It's plastic.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it's not neoprene.
So it was neoprene.
No.
All right, I won't.
That's okay.
I probably wouldn't have ironed it anyway. You see.
No, he wouldn't. She wouldn't have. It would have been me trying to iron it, but
you wouldn't have ironed
no, I
it
probably
either.
wouldn't have either. No, it's true.
Tried to pull out our ironing board the other day. Our kid's like, "What's that?"
Aaron says 10 out of 10 shirt, Mike. I like it as well. It's going to be my new TO shirt, I think.
It's not because it's black, but yeah. If I could get it printed on orange, I would.
Josh Albert says...
I'm surrounded by idiots. Read the players' pack.
We were in the elevator today and getting ready to check out from the hotel we stayed at, and this family went to walk in, and there's mum and kids and all the rest of it gibbering. The doors opened, and the father of the group has gone, "Oh no, because there was a limit on how many could be in the elevator." He said, "No, we'll get the next one." And then I watched him read my shirt, look around, and look at me and go, "I am as well, mate." And then the doors closed. So that was pretty cool. Josh Albert says, same here, Dave. First time tournament player and had a great time. Went 2-2 as guard, which was, to be honest, better than I'd expected heading into the event. Great event objective secured. Thanks, Josh.
Aw, thanks.
We, yeah, like I said, we really love seeing new players come and join in with the community. And, yeah, like we do a whole bunch of different events across the year. The next one that's happening in Perth is in May, which is War Calls.
2 days.
It is 2 days, 2,000 points. It's our first quote-unquote competitive event of the year. That's not to say that the community's going to change. It's just going to be match play missions where generalship will play a heavier part. So, yeah, hopefully you can get a 2,000 point army together and come and join us for that.
If not, you're still welcome to come and say hello.
I also saw an email today that I've got to reply to for someone saying, "I want to come to my first event. What's Linebreaker and how do I go?" If you haven't seen it already, Linebreaker is an event we've run. I think we missed 1 year because of scheduling changes for one of our big events.
Did we?
Yeah, we did miss 1 year. 2019, I think we had to miss. But it's basically Warhammer Camp. We go down to Albany for 2 nights and we play games and hang around and play board games, and there is a tournament in the middle there. And it's a really good, casual, fun weekend with the Albany 40k community.
Which will be smaller because they've all gone and decided that breeding is an important thing.
Yeah, a lot of them have had...
A lot of them too. 2 of them have had babies on the same day.
Well, the good part from us still going down though, even though we normally get somewhere between 3 and 8 Albany players, but the ones who do come to that event are also the ones who make the trek up to Perth to play at events here in the metropolitan area. And we like the idea of Perth players making the trip down to Albany to show that we are all one community, and we don't just expect them to make the trip because we run events.
Yeah, that's a load of rubbish. We go down because it's really good fun.
Oh, it is. It's a great weekend.
3 days where we just get to go and chill out and hang out and have fun, and
Well, the thing is, every time we've done it,
it's much more community building than a tournament day.
Yeah.
So.
And each time we've done it, there's been
community building is a bit of a word for it. Took my adjective out there. That also began with a W. But really, it's just about a group of people hanging out and.
Yeah.
Then they also play 3 or 4 games in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Middle of the event.
We're going to do a 4 this year. But we've had a situation where players who haven't come to Perth to play one of our tournaments have then come to Linebreaker because they've been playing 40k with the locals down at Elandril Games in Albany.
Yeah.
And then they've ended up on the WATC team to come to Perth. So it's a great way for them to kind of begin forming those connections with the bulk of the tournament community. So when they come up with the team for WATC in September, there's already some familiar faces in the room outside of the 5 guys they're with. So that's really good. Speaking of WATC, that was one of the things I did get messages of. I posted a photo from the top of from floor 11 where we were at the hotel, and someone said, "Oh, is this the next venue for a tournament?" Funnily enough, we've actually been talking about that. So
Please don't, because we're not doing it anytime soon. Okay?
it was a good idea, and it was just
I'm
funny
not
that
saying it's not a good idea, but we're not following through with it this year at the very least. So
no.
let's just.
All right, fine, fine. I won't say anything.
Good. Move on. Any other comments there?
I think she's begging for someone to comment at this point in time.
I see something that's in orange. What's that?
That's someone tagging us.
Oh, okay, right.
That's Josh tagging us and saying thank you for the event.
All right, Josh said something else. Thanks, Josh. Really appreciate that.
Josh also says, metro or rural, which region has the better players?
Well,
define better, actually, is probably a better question.
Yeah.
Better drinkers, there's a big argument there.
And define better for that as well.
Look, I mean, obviously there's an advantage for being in the metropolitan area because you can attend more events with more regularity without the overheads and difficulties of having to drive 400 kilometers for a tournament, find somewhere to stay, play the tournament, and go home. One of the guys down in Albany does try and make as many Perth ones as he possibly can, but he's just got married.
So he missed First Blood.
He did miss First Blood.
I think it might have been his First Blood that he's missed as well.
Yeah, it could be. So, like, when you start talking about rankings, it's also a bit of a weird one because obviously the more events you go to, the better your chances are of placing well in the rankings. The rankings take your best 4, I think it is, events.
I think when I'm just going to change the subject.
Yeah.
I think when we first started going down to Albany, there was this almost fear from the Albany players around what hardcore Perth players were going to be like coming down and invading Albany, and this apprehension around what it was going to be like playing the hardcore metro players. And I will say that when that first event, it was very, very different. So the players that were down there were used to going and hanging out at Albany Tabletop Gamers and spending 5 or 6 hours playing one game.
Yeah.
They weren't used to playing an event, so they weren't used to having to stick to a tight time schedule. It was just a different kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And not that there's anything wrong with that, it was just different. And you can't do 4 6-hour games in a day. Well, you can, sort of, but it's not feasible for an event. So back then, which was what, 2016? I think it was
2016. I'm not sure. I think it was.
All the years have mingled. So back then, there was very much, it was Perth players were coming in as the experienced players. They were coming in as the ones who were, and it was about trying to foster that bond and trying to show that actually Perth players are a friendly bunch of people and they're not hardcore gamers and they're not going to come in and invade. And so, which then I guess led to people feeling comfortable to come up to Perth to play in events because they knew what Perth players are like and knew what kind of thing to experience. So it was kind of that gentle entry point to playing in OBSEC events and playing in Perth events. Over the years, though, that has changed.
The Albany players, like the first year, I think the Albany players didn't win a category. And then last year, I think they won half of the categories.
And when they're coming in with like 6 to Perth's 18,
they've definitely
stepped up.
I think it's also because we've got some really good community members down there who've tried to kind of foster the same relationship and community that we do, in that yes, you're allowed to compete unless you're allowed to play by the rules, unless you're allowed to write hardcore armies and all the rest of it, as long as it's fair and you're respectful to your opponent and you behave in a way that's representative of the way that they want their community to be seen. So we are very fortunate that the community down there has similar ideals and values that they want to adhere to. So
as for better, totally depends on who's the better player on the day.
Yeah, I think Marcus took it out from Albany last year, didn't he? I think he did. I can probably check down.
I don't even remember who.
I can probably check down under pairings.
So I can't tell you who.
Craig won First Blood.
Oh yeah, I do remember that now.
Yeah.
You mentioned it because it was his wife's birthday. Yeah. So.
Speaking of First Blood, if you haven't already, we posted
it. Say happy birthday to Hawk that day. Happy birthday. posted it.
you can head to the Facebook after this. You can go back to the Facebook page, and I posted a link to the photos from James.
Mhm.
There's also a link in the latest podcast on the website as well. If you want to go and click on that, there's about 140 photos from First Blood.
It's 163, but
I was going to say
Could've just made that up.
139.
oh, there you go. Who knows? We're just making numbers up now. James something photography.
That's linked on there as well.
Okay, because
I can't think of his surname either.
It's not his surname that he has for his profile anyway on Facebook.
James Oliver Photography. If you want to check out, there's
How many pictures?
How many pictures? 139.
You suck.
If you want to check out, there's some really great photos in there of some of the armies. I believe our son still has a boatload of them somewhere. Are they on your phone or on his phone?
Yeah, they're on my phone.
Okay, I'll extract those and we'll get those up as well.
He took 3 of every single army in the room.
I'll get them off the phone.
Do you know how long it takes? I've done some brainstorming sessions for work, and I work better just, I'm a visual person, draw pictures on the whiteboard, sketch stuff on the whiteboard, write notes on the whiteboard, take photos on my phone, then I've got it future reference. It's taking me 15 minutes to scroll through all the pictures of people at work. What's that? Never mind.
If you can find it, I used it in the episode 89 podcast in the show notes. There's a photo of the Space Wolf Lord based on the Conrad Kurz model from the Night Haunter model from Forge World. That's the Space Wolf army that won Best Painted. Peter Shaw, I think is his name. Amazing looking army. There's a bunch of photos of it that James got, and obviously we've got some photos. I don't know what they look like, but we've got photos of them.
I don't know what they look like either, but I didn't actually see the army, so I did try scrolling
so
through and having a look, and it didn't jump out at me. But I also there's so many.
That was the biggest problem with that army. Like I was talking to a lot of people, and they went, "Oh, it's just a Grey Space Wolf army." I went, "No. Walking past it, yeah, it's a Grey Space Wolf army. There's a crash drop pod on the display board, and there's snow and tundra and all the rest of it, and it's very well done, but it's also very unassuming."
Yeah, but that's something that I talk about quite often.
Yeah.
With, because we didn't actually do the paint scoring this time.
No, we didn't.
Were very lucky, and James, Leif, and Will from West Oz Miniature Painters came down, and James spent almost the whole day there, and Will and Leif were there for an hour or so.
Yeah.
Could have been more, I don't know, I've lost track of time. But when we do it, it's often, there are ones that stand out from the other side of the room because they're big and showy and they've got flashing lights and music and smoke machine. Actually, no, it's not a smoke machine. I really think that's something someone should look at. But then there's the ones that you think, oh yeah, until you pick them up.
Yeah.
I think.
As soon as we were doing the judging, as soon as the public were doing the scoring, I said to him, take that display board and put it up on the stage with all the other display boards, because he had it at the back of the room on the table he played at, and I went, no, that needs to go up where people are actually going to go and look at all the armies side by side and see it. And it also raised it up to eye level rather than having to squat down to it.
Yeah, it's really hard.
And it thoroughly deserved the win.
Look, I have seen Pete's painting before. I didn't see it on the weekend, but I have seen his painting before. And because I think he's won a previous...
Pete Platel has won...
No, not Pete Platel.
Oh, Peter Shaw. Both of those guys have... Like Pete's... the comment I got from James was if Pete Platel had finished his army to the standard that he'd done Marneus Calgar, then he would have had to have gone back with both of those two and be really nitpicky. And Pete Platel's won Gold Neiman categories before. Yeah,
the point that I was trying to make was that while I didn't see this particular army, I have seen Pete Shaw's painting before, and I think that he's won a painting competition at one of our events before.
It might have been doubles.
I cannot remember, but I'm fairly sure I remember sticking a medal around his neck for it before. So, but it is one of the things that it's one of the reasons I don't like the peer judge painting is because often the unassuming ones get walked past.
Well, Nick Bryant's Raven Guard are another one that.
Was Nick there on the weekend?
He was. His Raven Guard, they're black Space Marines. They've got one red shoulder pad trim, and they're black and metal. And you go, oh, it's black Space Marines, and you walk past them, and then you actually stop and look at them and go, oh wow, like these are really well detailed, they're well edged, they look really like they're really well done black.
The flip side to that is we talk about the 3-foot rule.
Yeah.
So, if amazing models look fine from 3 feet away, scabby models look fine from 3 feet away as well.
That's one way of putting it. Isik says, can we make a fancy event that allows international players to attend under the facade of global competition?
Yeah.
Now, it's...
WOTC, come along.
No. I think he means so that he doesn't have to fly with all the limits and stuff.
Ah.
Now, it's
We've
funny
been
because
talking about Nerd Commonwealth Games.
we have.
I read that with love.
I read that comment while we've been talking about the painting just then, and my brain's been whirring in the background.
Mm.
And I'm wondering whether we could do an international event where we get a one-on-one, like via Discord or Skype. So Isik calls, let's use Aaron because he's in the chat as well. So we pair them off. Isik supplies the army list. We pair them off with a Perth player and get one to basically be the hands for the other. I wonder whether we could make something like that work.
We've talked about that before.
Well, we talked about it for doing it so that we can play a game and stream that game. I'm talking about doing like a 3-round, 8-player tournament.
Normally, I'm very good at going, oh, that's exciting. We could do this and we could do this and we can do this. But at the moment, I'm playing the role of, here are all the problems I can see with that.
It's minor problems. I reckon we could.
This is not the way our relationship normally works.
I wonder.
Okay.
There's some thoughts there. Aaron says, so points differential for war calls. Yeah, probably. I'm open to the idea of trying it. Aaron was one of we talked about it in the episode 89. He was one of the ones who went, hey Mike, listen to that. Here's some other angles you hadn't considered. And I kind of like the idea of at least doing due diligence and trying it and seeing what it looks like, because it'll still track everything else that we would normally track in terms of battle points and all the rest of it. So what it means is after the event, I can actually go back through all the data and go, okay,
would it have changed?
Would the event actually change? And I think that's probably the next step in that process, is to see what it actually means. So Isik says it's just a fancy way of playing Tabletop Simulator. Much fancier. Have you seen Tabletop Simulator?
Yes.
Yeah. So they've been doing international tournaments using Tabletop Simulator and rankings and all the rest of it for it. I actually think he's right. It is basically just TTS. We'd obviously have to make sure there was a camera per table. So we'd need 4 cameras.
There are many, many, many issues.
No, there's less the more I think about it.
We're going to have a discussion about this, but it's not now.
I'm kind of in for this.
Can't even manage to get a podcast out on time at the moment.
Bananarama says, I've seen a video for that, for Total War, where it's a room with generals and then they had runners to give messages to the other room where players doing the moves in a video game. That's an interesting one. I do think we could do a real-time TTS.
And I'm happy to discuss it when it's not now.
Oh, no, now... Oh, I've got so many ideas.
Again, happy to discuss it, not now. So we're going to move on and talk about something else.
What players could we get to do it?
We're going to move on and talk about something else.
Oh, it's got so many ideas.
What's the thing that just popped up?
Apparently the idea of doing it with Total War and running, it works, but it was so much more complicated.
Yes.
You're not helping my case. Shush.
And I'm happy to discuss those complex issues at another time, when it's not 10 o'clock and when we're not being recorded.
We could probably do
Darling,
a whaler.
We're just going to move on.
I was just going to suggest a sponsorship deal with Whale and Yutani.
Does anyone have any questions about perhaps Albany and what's happening in Albany? Does anybody have any questions?
Sponsorship deal, Isik, I'll hit you up.
Does anybody have any questions about terrain? Does anybody have any questions?
See, he's with me. Let's discuss it now. That's a look that says no, mate. I'll talk to you later.
Now.
Yeah, we're going to move on from if I don't want to sleep where I'm sat. I think we're going to move on.
You'll be lucky.
Well, that's true. Your camera is here beside me.
Yeah.
It's good armrest. yeah, so it's going to be an interesting trip to Albany. It's a lot of fun.
Hmm.
Then we go on to May for
Now, with Albany,
yeah,
going back previous years, my plan was that everybody has to bring a different bottle of whiskey. Just thinking, we tried that, and Matt Bell brought the most disgusting peated whiskey ever. But just saying, I'm open to that being another option for this year again. They used to do it with port for the Blood Bowl event
yep.
that they had down there. We could do that, but
Essex,
better.
Essex says slide into my DMs anytime. I'll do that later.
Okay, well, you guys can romance each other later while you
All right.
do that. But right now, we're moving on.
Banana Rama says, why are you using a 20-0 differential for Line Breaker when in episode 88 it sounded like you didn't like it anymore?
Yep, it did, didn't it?
It's due diligence, basically. It's something.
Who's Bananarama? Can you put who you are?
So everything that we do for a tournament, whether it's was that my battery warning?
Battery's running low.
Whether it's to do with the players pack, the format, changing the menus for the lunches, like there's a whole bunch of conversations that go on in the background that you never see. And anything that gets published in the players pack is not something that's arbitrarily pulled out of thin air and just decided on. There's a lot of stuff, which order the missions are placed in, how things are scored, how they're weighted. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background.
We do try and share a fair amount
We
of
do.
that as to how those kind of
And
decisions are made.
a lot of it's done more publicly with patrons because obviously they're our closest supporters. So we do a little bit with them, we do a little bit in public, we do it here. So in this particular case, we both, or I know I had in my head gone 20-0 makes no sense anymore. And like I said at the start of episode 89, I'd actually had a couple of people listen to the episode, listen to our conversation, and then go, well, you've missed this, or you've forgotten this, or you haven't considered this angle. And
that's part of the you don't know what you don't know thing.
Yeah.
So we are always open to that. And so if you listen to episode 88, I was trying to push Mike to come up with different options as to why a 20-0 differential might be a good idea. Now, he couldn't think of any, but Aaron and Tom, I believe, was
Tom
the other
White,
one.
yeah.
They both got in contact with Mike and shared some ideas around why they thought that differential could work well. And we did talk about that a little bit in episode 89. So you can check that out. But yeah, it was just that, as we said, Aaron and Tom came up with some suggestions, and so that we can check it, that's what we're going to do.
The good part about it is, as a player, you don't have to work it out because Down Under Parents will do it for you. So from your point of view, you're still putting in the scores like you normally would, and it just figures it out for you.
Have we worked out what the differential is going to be?
It's basically a 5-point differential. So 0 to 5 is still a draw, and then it's 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, and so on. So I think you need like a 50-point swing to get a 20-0. Like you really have to hit a home run.
And the reason around that, the kind of thing that I got to by the
Ben, I hate you.
By the
He's
end.
gone, I was just trying to change the subject. I don't really mind.
Oh, thanks, Ben.
Aaron,
I love you.
What's
really,
the best?
Really appreciate
Aaron asks, "What's the best email to annoy you? I mean, offer advice." That depends, Aaron. If you want to email Emma, I've got a completely different email address that you can hassle her on. If you want to send it to me, that's a different email address. I think she wants me to give you my email address.
It's in the players pack.
It's obsec@optusnet.com.au. Yeah, Isik saying WTC style is 51 points, 51 plus difference for a 20-0, which is what we're using. So, yeah, it's a good opportunity to try it out and see. It was something that we were talking about kind of for WATC later in the year anyway. But that was kind of where we saw the most value in it. But in the interest of making sure that we're not crossing things off arbitrarily, we wanted to see what it meant, and it gives us a couple of events to try it at.
I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to chat for because Mike's laptop is pinging to say that it's in low power mode.
Yeah, the battery saver's on, but we'll see how we
So
go.
if anybody's got any last minute questions, let's try doing last minute wrap up now, and then
we'll get 5 to 10 minutes out of it.
Yeah.
Tops. But yeah, so I'm hoping that by us doing and showing that we're not just going to assume we're the experts on it and willing to try these things, it at least gives some surety from the community that we're not just saying, well, our way or the highway. And sometimes, obviously, we run the event, so it kind of is that anyway. But at the same time, I'd like to think that when someone comes to us and says, hey, have you considered this, or maybe looked at it from this angle, or those sorts of things, we're not just going to write it off. We're going to go, okay, well, let's see what happens. Let's see, unless there's a genuine reason why we'd say no to it, at least, anyway.
I like to work with kind of a value of transparency, and also, while we don't believe in change for the sake of change, if there is a good reason to try something different, then we're open to that. So there we go. We've covered that. Let's move on.
So yeah, it's an interesting one that
just pinged up. It's Ben again.
Yeah, but I'm not answering that question, so it's fine.
What does it say?
I said ages ago I wasn't going to answer those questions, so it's fine.
Yeah, that tells you how it's going. Ben just asked how the Warlord Titan's going.
No, you don't even acknowledge it. We just move on. That was what I said. So.
As if his word's law.
It is. I'm on with the laptop. Look, I'm really excited for the Drukhari book. I'm very, very keen for that book. I
really want to read that, but I've realised it may not look appropriate if I stick my head down there to try and read it again.
Go on, that'd be great.
Read what that says.
Josh says, where is a good location, Metro, to find and meet other comp players? I have heard good things about Northern Boards. You do have a few good venues in Perth to go and meet other gamers. There's Outpost 6030 on Tuesday nights in South Perth.
Now, it's only 3 out of 4 nights.
Yeah, because the Flower Club competes with them one Tuesday night.
Yes, I believe next Tuesday is actually Bits Night.
Yeah.
Timo's normally on and he's not on
No,
tonight,
he's not here at the moment.
Let me have my phone. Where did I put that? Oh, here.
Yeah, so Outpost 6030, if you're sort of roughly central, it's just off the freeway in South Perth. I believe Crags are back open again now in Kwinana on a Friday night.
Saw that as well.
North of the river, obviously if you're referencing Northern Boards, it makes me assume that you are. Northern Boards have done a really good job. There's not been a lot other than the Games Workshop stores north of the river. And Northern Boards is a great place to pick up games with other competitive, like-minded players. And they have a habit, they've been really supportive of basically making sure whatever the regulars are playing is kind of the same format of what we're about to run for our next tournament, because they were playing a bunch of 1,000-point games in the lead up to First Blood, and they're going to move on to 2,000 points once we kind of get into the start of April to get ready for War Calls in May.
So it is Bits Night on Tuesday night at Outpost?
Yep.
So Tuesday the 23rd, I believe.
Something like that.
Or whatever Tuesday is around there. Also, there is... I'd already said I'm geographically challenged. Where's I'd crit that?
They are north of the river, but they're kind of halfway to Midland. Not Cardinia.
No, that's not it.
No, I've lost the suburb. No, I've lost it. If you are wanting to...
They also play on, I believe, is that a Saturday or a Sunday morning?
Sunday, I think it was. The other thing you can do is head into any of the Warhammer stores.
Sunday, Noranda. I thought it began with an N.
Well, I think it's there must be one next door that starts with a K.
Could be.
Yeah.
I'd crit that meets fortnightly on Sundays at the main hall, Robert Thompson Reserve, Weatherall Way, Noranda, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Entry cost is $5. They sell drinks, and Noranda Shopping Centre's just across the road where you can buy food. I very occasionally we share a gaming space with Western Front modelers until 12, but I don't know how you found out when they're there and when they're not there, if they're fortnightly.
George is normally online as well, and he's...
Yeah.
I haven't seen
it.
So
I'd crit that. There's a group on Facebook, so you can always jump on that and just ask.
The other thing you can do is just head into one of the Warhammer stores. If you head into...
Or Good Games.
Yep. Well, the Warhammer stores in particular, because a lot of the guys are tournament regulars as well. So Mitch out in Fremantle, Stu in Perth. He doesn't come so much, but he's still very active in the community in terms of tournaments. Andrew in Morley is a regular tournament goer. Sarah in Baldivis, I believe, is on a short period of leave at the moment. The hours are a bit different down there.
Oh, yeah.
But normally
They're only open like 2 days a week at the moment, aren't
2
they?
or 3, yeah. I think it's Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
That sounds about right,
But you can head into the store, and a bunch of the players south of the river go into that store and play regularly on the Saturday. If you head into Joondalup and see Michael behind the counter, he came to First Blood. He's not a tournament player. He's a very casual, hobby-focused.
he's a narrative player.
He is very definitely a narrative player. He's a lovely guy, but even he came afterwards and went, I can see why people love coming to your tournaments. I really love coming to these ones. He's not going to come and play at Masters, but he will be able to hook you up with players in the community who you can play against, even in the store.
Trying to find out when.
Ben says, pop down to Albany for a game.
You can come down to
Look,
Albany, that's right.
Elandriel Games down in Albany also run stuff.
I mean, it is a bit further when you're in north of the river and you just pop down. But
500k drive.
Albany Tabletop Gamers, are they still playing?
Well, I think they mostly meet up at Elandriel these days. Good Games in Cannington as well sees a fair bit of 40k happening at the moment, which is great. Some of the Good Game stores are more card focused and don't have a lot of foot space, whereas Cannington's a nice big space. They normally have 2 or 4 tables set up for gaming.
Okay, I can't find out when Baldivis is actually open at the moment.
I'm 99% sure it's Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
I saw a post about it, but I can't find it now.
Yeah, that's just that's a situation with staffing that they've had to accommodate it. But so there's plenty of opportunities there for you to go and see different people and play games. And they all meet at different times in different places, so you can probably find a game every day if you really wanted to.
Yeah, and also if you do want to find a game and those venues don't work, then you can always jump onto. So like there's the Offset Gamers page, which is a group, so it's not a page, Offset Gamers group. So you can jump on that and put up and say anybody looking for a game and try and make connections that way.
There's a Perth 40k group as well.
Yes.
Which gets
40k players or something like that.
Warhammer 40,000 Western Australia players or something. It's a convoluted name. It's a very long convoluted name, but yeah, there's definitely places you can play. Ben says, yeah.
Warhammer 40,000 players, Perth, Western Australia.
Yeah. Ben says ATT do meet at Elandriel's now in Albany.
And is it every week, Ben?
Josh says, great advice, guys. I was going to say that my work takes me all around the metro area as a support worker, but I think Albany might be a little bit far.
Never say never.
There are some really great venues all around the metro area for you to go and play games at. And if you're wanting to go to one of the Warhammer stores to organise a game, if you let the staff know...
Can you play games in the store at the moment?
I believe you can. Some of them have definitely reopened for gaming, depending on the floor space and how many people they're allowed in. So I would call ahead and speak to the manager and see what the individual requirements are, because they do vary store to store.
Yeah. But as I said, you can jump on
But just going in and talking to those staff, they'll be able to point you in the direction of where things are happening nearby, or if there's a player that comes into the store regularly that might be free to host or willing to meet and organise a game with you.
Yeah.
There's plenty.
And
First Sunday of the month is Albany.
Oh, once a month.
Thanks, Ben.
Awesome. Yes, thank you. I guess there are lots of different players that are in WA. When you come to an event, there's no option for who you play.
No.
But you know that at the end of one game, you're going to be playing against a different opponent. Unless you're Chris with the hat, who forgets to update and thinks he's playing the same opponent again.
Yes. But, refresh, people. Use refresh.
But only known as Chris with the hat, so we can't. I don't know if anybody else knows him as Chris with the hat, so I don't think that's actually publicly shaming him. So when you come to an event, you know that you're going to be playing something different within the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
When you meet someone at a club, you may not have a good fit with the particular player that you're playing against. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't go back to that club, but perhaps if you do have a not great experience playing against that particular player, it might be worth reaching out to somebody who's involved with that club to see whether or not they might be able to put you in touch with somebody who might be a better fit for your personality style or your play style or your experience with play as well. So
Yeah, for sure.
at Outpost, that would be probably Jacob.
Yeah, look, I mean I'm not sure what the current committee looks like off the top of my head. I know that we spend a lot of our time talking direct to Jacob.
Yeah, but he could at least put you in contact with somebody. So Jacob's from Outpost.
Gavin down at Crags.
Well, I don't know if Gavin might be taking a leave of absence at the moment, but
That
there's
is true.
Tristan and Dion and Nikki who are
Yeah.
down at probably not Nikki because she's probably taking a leave since she just had
A baby.
relatively just had a baby.
Yeah.
So Dion and Tristan might be good to contact at Crags, and again they can put you in contact with somebody. You can talk to Ben down at Albany, or the other Ben or Mark down in Albany.
And all the store managers at the other stores will be able to help you out, typically speaking, because obviously it's in their best interest to have good communities at the stores.
And Danny at Northern Books.
Yes. Depending on what your routine is, I could even come out and meet you and play a game with you, Josh, depending on where and when.
When do you have free time to do that? Tuesday, I'm not saying that's not a good thing, but...
I'm not editing on a Tuesday night anymore. I could go to Outpost. That's that face again.
No, but remember how you just said that you had this idea around this event that you would like to do, right?
Yeah.
That takes work.
It does. Play testing.
Same as the other stuff that we keep saying that we're going to do. You have to find time to fit that stuff in.
Yeah.
So going in
gaming... I do need to play test stuff.
That's a good idea. You do need to play. You also need to get the other stuff done.
Okay.
There are other comments there.
No, we're good.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's been an hour. This is usually wrap-up time.
Yeah, and the laptop stayed.
Yeah, it still says I have 6 minutes.
Yeah. Excuse me, sorry.
I don't know. Emma's got 6 minutes.
I don't know if I've got 6 minutes in me. My battery's drained too.
Yep. If you have anything else, though, you can email us, opsec@optusnet.com.au. You can find us on Facebook and send us a message there.
When he doesn't respond, you can message me and I'll...
It's not true. It's just people expect an instant response sometimes, and sometimes they don't get it. Sometimes it's because I'm deliberating and trying to figure it out.
Sometimes you procrastinate and then you forget.
Look, I'm not going to deny that either.
Oh dear.
I saw something that was posted in one of the hobby groups, which I must share. I forgot to. You should always have 2 projects on the go.
2?
Yeah, 2. Because that way you can procrastinate on the first one and just kind of tinker with the second until you get to a point where you can't tinker anymore and you really have to commit. And then you can procrastinate and go back to the first project and tinker until... So you can kind of always be achieving something while still procrastinating.
Yeah, I spent all Monday procrastinating and then took Tuesday off.
Yeah, you did. She came over Monday and went, I really didn't get enough stuff done today. It's going to be a busy day tomorrow. And I'm sat here going, she doesn't know she's not going to work on Tuesday.
No.
And I convinced her to get dressed, and I was going to drive her to work to try and so she didn't have to think about driving, and I can do it with the school run. And then halfway to the school in the car, she got a text message from work going, you're not going to work. You're going to go where your husband takes you.
Didn't go. Yeah.
Yeah. It took a little while for her to get over that.
Yes. However, I'm not sure as we only have 2 projects on.
No. I'm more thinking about like hobby project stuff, like have 2 armies on the go.
Yeah. I do not authorise this message, or whatever that is. What do they normally say?
It's so cute.
This message is authorised, but I do not authorise this message.
Is that just because you don't want to buy another army?
Yes.
It's cute that she doesn't think I have 2 projects.
I know, but I also know
so cute.
I also know that you'll go, I better get another 2. Because now I've just said perhaps I probably need that Sisters of Battle, and then I can say that,
No, I've got my Age of Sigmar army.
Oh my god.
And I've got my Drakari that I'm...
What's that message say?
I don't have that much Age of Sigmar yet. I might check out Outpost at some point in the future, so I might hold you to that game. No worries, dude. Hit me up, let me know when, and I'll see if I can work it into our schedule.
So long as it's not Age of Sigmar.
I'm building 40k for the Drakari release at the moment, and I haven't bought the battle tomes for Age of Sigmar. I was when I was last buying the prizes for First Blood, I picked up the battle tome for the Daughters of Cain and went, do I need this now?
No. The answer is always no.
And I put it back on the shelf, and I was very proud of myself for putting it back on the shelf.
I'll get you a gold star.
or the box of witch elves when I open it, you just won't say anything about.
I think I will.
Okay. You won't.
What's that say?
Aaron says, imagine only having 2 projects on the go. Ben says, speaking of 2 armies at Xmas, how did your boy got faction coins? How did that go? He's about to start mucking around with some Necrons. We got those flayed ones in the Kill Team box, and he's decided he wants to paint those up. And we've been mucking about with some Orc models that I already had from 4th edition. They're metal, so they're quite old, but...
As long as they're not lead and he's not going to
No, these are... Well, no, he's not doing plastic at the moment. He doesn't like super glue. He's watched his mum stick her fingers together too often.
I'm not the only one.
No.
There's a support group for us online. We
Look,
stick together.
Josh has gone, hey man, I'm proud of you. I only bought 2 Basilisks the other day instead of 3. See, we can walk in and only buy what we intend to buy.
How many did you intend to buy, Josh?
Look, I went in intending to spend $600 on prizes, and that's what I did. I didn't spend... Actually, that's not true. I did buy something for me. But I didn't buy the... I put the battle tome down.
You get half a gold star.
Yeah, look, it was an Underworld's warband, and it is Witch Elves. But I want to use those models in my Daughters of Cain army.
That you don't have yet.
I do have.
Okay.
Need some Doomfire Warlocks next.
We're heading off.
Yeah, thanks very much for joining us. This has been a bit random and meandering, but that's what our lives are.
Yeah. I'm going to start putting the post up again that's asked for questions so that we actually have something solid to base this around.
I think we always start strong and then people start commenting and then we just...
really don't. We start weak and then it goes...
Anyway, we hope you are all doing well. We hope you're all getting some hobby in. We hope to see...
hope you're getting some sleep.
Yep, a new baby in the house. Congratulations. Hopefully we'll see a few of you down for Albany. Otherwise, we will see you in May.
You got any tickets left for Albany?
It depends. Aaron, if you want to hit up Earl and remind him that, yes, there is still a ticket there for him, because he's been umming and ahhing about that for about a week now. There's still a ticket there for Earl. And I've got one... Josh says he didn't go in for any Basilisks.
Yes,
he went in for a Leman Russ.
That was exactly what I thought.
I can't fault the logic. Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe. We'll see you at an event soon. Otherwise, you can check us out on Facebook, on all the other usual spots. And stay tuned for the Drukhari review, which may take a couple of episodes as well, because I'm going to have a lot to say about that book. I'm already very excited. Yeah.
Toodaloo.
See you guys.